Hello, everyone. I'd like to first off apologize again. I have not been feeling very well, so I overslept this morning. I had an 8:20 alarm set, and I guess it didn't go off for some reason or the other. I'm waiting for a text from my son because I'm wanting him to get me some cold medicine, and he might text and be like, "What kind of cold medicine would you like?" My sister wanted me to let her know whenever I went to do this. But anyway, she has to take her son to work right now. So anyway, this is about The Masked Singer season 6, episode 6, which was really, really good. I'm going to make a short video later today about what my next Mystery Mondays video will be about. So tune in later for that. As always, subscribe, like the video, leave any comments that you would like. If you have an idea about something you want me to look into for Mystery Mondays, I'm thinking about just looking into the list of the missing people in the national parks for that. But if you have something like a person in particular that you would like me to look into, like a murder or a missing person, feel free to comment on that and let me know. I had posted some comments myself in chat yesterday, and now they're gone. So I don't know. I guess y'all can't even see those. But anyway, the theme of episode 6 was time warp. And we had another wild card, which is said to be the last wild card for Group A. And they had a guest panelist who came out as a mask character, which was soft serve. And I thought it was so funny. He's like, "My cherries are covering my eyes." And I was like, "Those are not cherries, they're strawberries." But they didn't even really disguise his voice. And he turned out, he was seeing This Is the Light of Mine. He turned out to be Leslie Jordan, who, of course, has been in several things, including Boston Legal, and has guest starred on a lot of stuff. He's just really, really hilariously funny. So, the first character, and spoiler alert for those of you who may not have seen the episode yet, I will be telling which character was revealed and who they were at the end. For those of you who are new to this, I discuss what the clues were that I caught that I thought were important, discuss who I think the person is, or who I think the character is, and why. In this group now, there's one person that I'm certain I know who is, there was one person I was certain I knew who was for one of the other characters, and I was completely wrong. That was Baby. But anyway, he turned out to be Larry the Cable Guy. So anyway, so one of the clues for Bull, the first one that I noticed, and I need to go back and I was going to count the nails and see, because that might make a difference. It might not. There was a stack of nails. He said he left a steady job to follow his dream. There was a picture frame that had a picture of Holland Oates in it, music group from the 80s. And he said he was alone in a strange new place that showed a set of theater masks. He lived in an apartment. Oh, that's what I was going to look into yesterday, and I forgot. Anyway, he lived in an apartment full of cockroaches. But the risk paid off. And then it said Bull N Rouge, which I was also going to look into and see if maybe he was on Moulin Rouge. And he said that he's chasing dreams. And he asked more questions than the other contestants combined, is what he's been told. He said that's because he's nosy. He wants to know who he's up against. He's been known to take bathroom breaks so he can try to catch a peek at someone. And so far, he hasn't had any luck with that. He seems to have a really good sense of humor. And he said he's trying to only worry about, he's trying to only worry about what he can control. And that has been a good life lesson for him to learn, as it would for all of us. And the song that he sang was Make You Feel My Love by Bob Dylan, which he did an excellent job on, as always. And of course, they had the time warp thing, so they had a time machine. So his item from the past was an old Mac computer and dial-up, and he said something about living rent-free, which led some of them to think that maybe he's from Rent, and he could be. But what all of this led me to, the nails, instantly, I went 9-inch nails, which apparently Jenny did also, but mine led me to a different place than her going with some person that was in a movie with 9-inch nails or something, and I don't think was even a singer. But anyway, so where the nails led me was to 9-inch Nails and their lead singer, Trent Resner. I listened to, I'm not going to think of which song it was again, but I listened to one of their songs. And to me, he sounds like the bull, first off. Second off, he's 56 years old, which is a little bit older than me. So he definitely is old enough to have had an old Mac computer and dial-up internet. Also, he grew up in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, which has a population of 6,303 people. As you may remember in the first episode, Bull said, I grew up in a small town surrounded by cows. That is a very small town. Now, where am I going with this now? Hall and Oates. I asked this trusty assistant over here, and then I Googled it just to make sure that she wasn't lying, where Hall and Oates got their start. And she said the band Hall and Oates was formed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So there's a connection between Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania right there, right? So I am pretty sure that the bull is Trent Resner of 9 Inch Nails. I was wanting to look back through the clues and see if there's anything in there that possibly perhaps spells out Nin, which is the abbreviated name of 9 Inch Nails. But I haven't done that yet. I thought that would be interesting. But I have started doing research on my stuff for Mystery Mondays, so I did not have time to do that just yet. The second one that performed was Pepper, who was just as good as she was the first time. And she said the time she would revisit, the time that she would revisit if she could go back is when she first hit it big. She wishes that she had enjoyed that time for what it was, the beginning of an amazing career. So she's had an amazing big career. And she said she signed on shortly before this season started, so things have been kind of hectic. She made a comment about seeing herself as sort of a wizard, which made my brain go Selena Gomez. The panelist went, could it maybe be someone from Harry Potter? And I'm like, Wizards of Waverly Place. Hello, Selena Gomez. Why didn't your brain go there? But anyway, may not be her, but it could. And she sang No Tears Left to Cry by Ariana Grande. And as I said, did a very good job. And her item from the past was from circa 2001. I didn't notice what year it said the first one was on, and I think I might have got the year wrong on one of these. But anyway, circa 2001, and it was an iPod, and she was like, let's get the party started. And the panelists were talking about who sang let's get the party started, which I don't remember who they said was right offhand. But there was a message for her from Courtney Cox, which made me go, okay, well, could this possibly be Lisa Kudrow? Could be, I don't think Courtney Cox has any kids. It could be someone else that is close to Courtney Cox, though. But the fact that Courtney Cox had that message for her made me feel like possibly it is Lisa Kudrow. But also Courtney Cox directs different stuff and is a producer now. Her and David Arquette, they do that together. So it could be someone that she directed or produced in something. And I don't know. So I'm torn on Pepper right now. I'm thinking possibly Selena Gomez definitely has the strong voice to be her, or possibly Lisa Kudrow, because I had said in previous seasons, I don't really think that she can sing that good, but I forgot that she sang. That was like part of what her job was on Friends, and she's actually pretty good at it. So it could possibly, with the Courtney Cox clue thrown in there, be Lisa Kudrow. And I'm trying not to look up online who any of these people are, who people are saying they are, but I did for the new character just because I'm so certain that I know who it is that I wanted to see what other people were saying and who they were saying that character is. So the next one that performed, which I did not write very many clues down for this one, and I'm almost certain that I know who this one is, but there was some stuff that was brought up in this episode that made me think maybe I'm wrong about that, and perhaps Skunk is someone else. So I did not write down the name of the song that Skunk sang. She did a good job, as always. And she said that the time she would go back to would be the 90s, when one of her biggest regrets happened. She let pride stop her from saying goodbye to a loved one and never saw them again. And I was like, I'm still thinking this is Taraji P. Henson from Empire. She definitely would have been on the scene, singing and acting in the 90s. But I don't know for certain what the event would have been for her. It's possible that she was close to Tupac. It's possible that she was close to the Notorious B.I.G. My brain went to Lisa Left Eye Lopez and Aaliyah, and I looked them up, knowing that they passed away in tragic accidents pretty close to each other, and one of them passed away in 2001, the other in 2002. So it's not someone that's connected to them, unless they were connected to them and someone in the 90s. But my mind goes to Tupac. Whenever I can't recall exactly when he died, but him and the Notorious B.I.G. died pretty close to the same time. So my mind goes to him, and I feel like it seems to me like Taraji P. Henson and him probably would have hung out together, but I don't know for sure. And her item from the past was, I said 1984, and one of the judges said, I believe, or panelist, I believe it was Robin, said the 1994 pager, and I was like, but didn't it say 1984? I'm almost certain it did. Were people still using pagers in 94? I'm pretty sure they were, but I think it said 84. But then she said she wanted to go back to the 90s, so perhaps she did say 94, was my logic on it. And so the number on the pager was 607, and she said these 3 digits would make her feel like a complete dream girl. And I believe it was Robin said that, if he recalls correctly, texting 607 meant I miss you, and there was something else that meant I love you, and then something else that meant SOS, like you need help. So she says the 3 digits would make her feel like a complete dream girl, and it means I miss you. And she talked about someone that she wasn't able to say goodbye to in the 90s. So clearly she was very, very close to that person, and her deal is she misses them. And if she were to receive that, they would be telling her that they miss her too, is what I got from that. But I am still going with Taraji P. Henson for her, even though when she sang this time, I went, you do kind of sound like Tina Turner. So I was actually going to make a note for that, which I didn't do, because people have been making fun of Ken for saying that she's Tina Turner. And I didn't think she had the big power voice for Tina Turner, partly because my brain's not working, dial up. Anyway, oh yes, partly because my volume on my TV, a lot of times when I watch it, is inconsistent. So some of the singers, the volume is just lower than the others, or perhaps that's connected to the show. I don't know for sure about that. So the next one that performed was Hamster, and he said that the time he would go back to, he knew the exact date he would go back to in time. It was November 30th, which was on a Saturday. And he said it was a party. And he said he and his wife went to an after party. I don't think this was at the same time, but it might have been. Yeah, actually, I guess it was. He said he and his wife went to an after party for a Luis Miguel concert, which I thought his name was pronounced Louis Miguel. And he said everyone was there, and it starts showing pictures. Okay. And there's one of Leonardo DiCaprio, one of Drew Barrymore. And the Drew Barrymore made me go, could it maybe be Adam Sandler? They did 50 First Dates together, or maybe one of his crew of people. But then they showed a picture of Jerry Seinfeld. And when I was looking into Kevin James before, I discovered that Kevin James was really good friends with Jerry Seinfeld. So before the King of Queens came on, he was on a couple of episodes of Seinfeld, where I believe he also played for a police officer. But so I was like, okay, so maybe it's Kevin James. And I'm like, he must have been in something with Leonardo DiCaprio and Drew Barrymore, and I just don't remember it. He was in the movie Grown Ups. So I was thinking perhaps that I'm pretty sure that he was in those movies. I could be wrong about that. I was going to look that up. But anyway, I was like, so he could have been in some of these other movies. There's some other movies with these people, but I don't know for sure. And he said the only person, it said the only person who impressed his wife was Louis Miguel. They saw him at the party, and I pretty sure I wrote that down wrong. He said the only time that he impressed his wife was whenever they went to the after party for the Louis Miguel concert, and they saw Louis Miguel, and his wife is not usually impressed with stuff that he does in his career. He said he's singing in Spanish, even though his Spanish is horrible, in honor of his wife. So at this point, I looked up Kevin James and to see who he was married to, and his wife's name is Stefania Dela Cruz, and I was like, oh, so his wife was Hispanic, so it could possibly be him, right? And the song he sang was, I'm going to mispronounce this, so forgive me, Spanish-speaking people, was Sabor a mi amor by Luis Miguel. And his item from the past was from 1984. It was a portable TV. And he said he never imagined he'd be on TV with all his amigos. And at that point, I wrote in parentheses, Adam Sandler again. And he said something about being a wild one. And I was like, LOL, which now that I think about it, is a very big clue for him. So when the panelists were talking, they were talking about there being quite a few Saturday Night Live clues for Hamster. And I was like, okay, so possibly it could be Adam Sandler. But I was still leaning toward Kevin James. I'm like, I'm sure that he was probably on at least a couple of episodes of Saturday Night Live, but I don't know. I'm trying to do this before my son comes home from work. Oh, that leads me to the last one, though. So the last character was the wildcard character, which was Jester. And they said to, if you have small children in the room, take them to their rooms, blah, 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 blah. It's the freakiest outfit that they've ever had on the show. And I was like, I think he's kind of cute. The mouth was like real big and weird, like, and all, but I thought he was really cute. And he was very, very, very goofy and high energy, which is part of why I think I know exactly who he is. There was a Jack in the Box, which might be too close of a clue now that I think about it. But one of his first clues was a Jack in the Box. He said he is wild. He's been called an icon. You can say he changed the course of history. They showed a bunch of hens with eggs, which I never found a connection to this person with that. I just thought of somebody else that maybe he might possibly be with that clue, though. Anyway, he said he was voted one of the most influential people of all time, which this person was. He has also been called a scoundrel, and it seemed like he had a fairly heavy accent. So I was like, could it possibly be Gordan Ramsay? I mean, hens and eggs, one of Gordon's big deals is eggs, cook this over easy egg right, or you're going home. And he's definitely been called a scoundrel. And he said he's offended heads of state, been banned from venues. They showed the red nose for the red nose event, which both of the people that I considered are big into the red nose stuff. And he said he's not really a bad guy in reality. So there's reality TV type stuff, which leads me more back to Gordan Ramsay realistically. And he said he's here to show the world he's a lovable, sensitive, multifaceted clown who just wants to make people laugh. Actually, he said, I just want to make you laugh. And he will do what it takes to entertain this court. And the song he sang and did an excellent job on, and this is what leads me to the person that I am 100% certain, no, let's say 98% certain that he is, because he could 2% turn out to be Gordan Ramsay with the hens and eggs thing and the being a scoundrel thing, and offending heads of state, definitely. But anyway, the song that he performed was School's Out by Alice Cooper. And I'm listening to the song and I was like, Jack Black. That is Jack Black. If you're a fan of Tenacious D, that voice, the growling, the whatnot and the other, definitely Jack Black. And the thing that cracked me up was the panelists every season are like, could this be Jack Black? I think this is Jack Black. And they were talking about Hamster, and one of them, I believe, was Robin. I was like, I think this is Jack Black. And then the Jester sang it. I was like, no, dude, that is Jack Black. None of them guessed him for Jester. I was like, what? What the what? No, he is Jack Black, hands down, definitely. And unless that 2% he turns out to be Gordan Ramsay with the reality clue, the the hens and eggs, then perhaps 2% he's not. Sorry, there's a bunch of gnats in my house. If you think you see an apparition in my video, it's actually a gnat very close to the camera. I meant to say that at the first. But anyway, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that he is Jack Black, and his item from the past was from 1975, and it was a plaid jacket with orange lining, and there were rips in the jacket. The jacket itself was like yellow and brown, I believe, and I'm going, I know that jacket. It made me think of Chris Farley's jacket from Saturday Night Live, or perhaps Chris Farley's jacket from Tommy Boy that he wears when he does the fat man in a little coat thing. Made me think of that, which had me going, okay, so maybe that is referencing Saturday Night Live. Jack Black, of course, was on Saturday Night Live. He started being on Saturday Night Live in, ironically, 1975, which is the year that Jester said he would go back to. So it's like, okay, so he enjoyed being on Saturday Night Live. He wants to go back to 1975 when that jacket was in play, because maybe he wants to be on Saturday Night Live with Chris Farley again. Because I was going, there was a character that Chris Farley played on Saturday Night Live who wore a jacket like that, but we know, unfortunately, that it can't be Chris Farley because Chris Farley passed away. And he said this jacket is pure style, and it kind of looks like a bum's jacket, in honesty. So Jack Black is 52 years old, so he was definitely old enough, to go back to 1975, which was the thing I was wanting to see about that. I was going, though, would he have been old enough in 1975 to have been able to be doing something that he really enjoyed? And the answer to that was yes. That's the first year that he was on Saturday Night Live. And so the Hens and Chicks, the only clue that I got for him on that was there's this guy that does videos that are called Hot Ones for a restaurant, I guess it is, that's called Spicy Wings. And they make super, super, super spicy wings at different levels. And he challenges different people, especially celebrities, to see how many of the spicy wings they can eat. And not just Jack Black, Tenacious D did this challenge, and the guy asked them, how are you with hot food? And Jack's like, oh, I'm down for it, man. I'm ready for this. I want the hottest hot you've got. And he's like, although now that I said that, I'm kind of starting to get scared, so maybe not the hottest hot that you've got. And I was like, yeah, that's too funny. But that's the connection I found with him for Hens and Chicks. As I said, I still think like 2% could possibly be Gordan Ramsay. I'm sure Jack Black has done reality type shows, probably like all sorts of them. I mean, he is half of Tenacious D, and he's an awesome actor. In my book, he's an icon, hands down. And I found it interesting this year. I don't believe on the first episode or so, I don't think at all that we have been told how many Academy Awards or tattoos or divorces or marriages that these people have, like they normally tell us, which I thought was very interesting. But so now I'm going to tell you who was revealed and who that person turned out to be. If you haven't watched it and you choose to stop watching the video at this point, and you have an idea for my Mystery Mondays, some missing person or someone who was murdered that you would like me to look into information concerning their case, make sure you leave a comment. Log off now, go back and do a comment to let me know what you would be interested in concerning that. And what I had said in the comment that I had posted for the chat, which for some reason, whenever I went to do this, does not seem to have done, was that the cases that I do plan to talk about, and I plan to talk about them in this order, not the order that was in the chat thing, but I plan to talk about them in this order. The first one is Josue Calderon, unless for some reason I because of context, decide to change this order. The case of Josue Calderon, who was found along the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina. The case of Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner. Sorry, I always have to think and make sure that I get their names, the right first name with the right last name. And I keep trying to call Crystal Turner Catherine Turner. Not sure why that is, but I keep doing that. And then I'm also going to talk a little bit about Brian Laundrie. And as I said, I am contemplating looking into the missing people, the cold cases of missing people in our national forest, and seeing what information I can find on that. I'm not a police officer or anything like that, so I don't have access to information that other people don't have information to. Just I might know some ways to look some stuff up that maybe other people don't, or try to bring some interest to this topic. So now I'm going to reveal who was revealed, which most of you probably already know. The person that was revealed was Hamster. And the funny thing was, when I was talking to my son about this, I was like, with the Friends thing, my mind, I'm surprised my mind did not go to Adam Sandler and his crew of friends that always make movies together. And then I was looking over my notes last night after I did a little bit of research. I babysat my grandson last night. That's why I didn't make this video last night. But I was looking over my notes for this after I did some of my research for my Mystery Mondays thing. And I was like, oh, so I did go Adam Sandler when he said Amigos, and Robin and Ken were like, could it possibly finally be Martin Short? I was like, Adam Sandler, duh. He's still referencing Friends. Don't know why my brain didn't go there before now. But who he turned out to be was Saturday Night alum, although he's probably actually still on there some, Rob Schneider. And Rob Schneider, I believe, is 56 years old. And I did not really notice the Saturday thing for the November 30th until one of the panelists, I believe it was Robin, pointed that out. But yes, he was Rob Schneider, and he did an excellent job singing. Whenever they had him take his mask off, and he re-sang part of the song that he had sang on this episode in Spanish, Sabor a mi amor. He did such a good job. And a lot of times it's like these people get unmasked, and I'm like, well, if you had performed that good whenever you were singing the song when you were in the mask, then you might still be on there. But it's so hot in those masks from what they say, and it's got to be so difficult to perform well with those masks on, if you know what I mean. These gnats are driving me crazy, if you know what I also mean. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and go for now. I hate doing videos so close together, doing this one on Sunday and then doing my Mystery Mondays one tomorrow, but I am going to do my Mystery Mondays one tomorrow, even if both of my sons are off work and I'm babysitting my grandson. Well, I'm babysitting my grandson because I babysit him every weekday while my daughter's at work, but he's a little bundle of joy. Anyway, but I will make that video tomorrow, and I don't know that I will do anything about missing people in the national forest this week. And I was also going to look and see if there's any more updates on Gabby's case, and I don't think that there will be until they have had a chance to dry out the notebook that was found and look through it, unless perhaps they do have Brian's phone and maybe he made a confession using his phone or something like that. But I think if he had his phone, it was probably dead, but I don't know for sure. Anyhow, we'll get into that tomorrow more. I'm going to go ahead and go for now. Everyone, have a good whatever time of night or day it is in your part of the world. Stay safe and stay positive.